For as long as humans have communicated with language and pictures, tales of ghosts, spirits and unseen entities have been passed down from people of all cultures and beliefs. Could unseen forces be in existence around us, or simple optical illusions that play tricks on our minds? How could humans all around the world live such vastly different lives, yet tell stories in striking similarity to one another? Poltergeist, or noisy ghost in German, are thought to be bodiless incorporeal spirits that are responsible for causing all kinds of disturbances in their victims' lives. These spirits have varying degrees of malice, from simply disappearing objects to potentially harmful acts like scratching and throwing objects. Their goals are often unclear, seeming only want to cause some kind of discontent in daily life. In this next video, a man is staying the night in a Harlingen, Texas motel room. Not long into his stay, he reported that small, odd disturbances began taking place.
I decided to turn on my camera because there's something really scary going on in here right now.
A telephone falling off of its cradle, and a cup apparently falling from its place on a countertop. It wasn't long before the man began filming. At the start of the video, the man is describing the events that he claims took place.
I was laying here watching CNN, and that phone fell off its cradle, and I have no idea why. One of those cups right there fell off onto the floor down in here.
As he pans the camera to the telephone, you see that the receiver comes off its cradle and onto the top of the dresser.
I don't know. Oh, crap.
He then goes into the washroom area and films himself in the mirror, pointing again to the cup and putting a hand towel onto the counter. He begins to speak to the entity, asking it to move something else and prove it's there.
Can you move something else again for me?
Almost in immediate response, you can see the corner of the towel move slightly, before the towel itself moves off the counter and falls to the floor, seemingly on its own accord. The man becomes more excited.
Oh! Can you tell me your name?
After some more speaking and questioning, the final event is for the man to pan the camera back to the dresser, where a coat hanger slides off the dresser towards him and is seen from both the forward shot of the camera as well as the rear view from the mirror on the wall. The video, if genuine, shows evidence of some sort of unseen force exerting its will over the objects that were moved during this man's stay at the motel. But as always, we cannot take at face value the claim that this was in fact any kind of spirit, not until we run our own analysis. Soon after the man uploaded his video to the internet, many critics were quick to point out that any of the objects that were supposedly moved by the spirit could have been moved by simple fishing line. Our researchers agree that this is the probable explanation. As with many hoaxed videos, fishing line or wire are very popular methods used to hoax this kind of footage. Consider in the video, every object that is moved in the direction of the cameraman, the phone coming off the cradle, the towel falling from the counter to the floor, and the hanger moving off of the dresser. All these incidents occurring in much the same way, a wire or line could have been attached to all of these objects and created the effect. In the scene with the towel, you can briefly see the man remove the towel from his shoulder, which could have given him enough time to attach something to it. Equally suspicious is the fact that his arm is not visible in the mirror when the towel moves. Both indicate possible physical manipulation. The hanger as well moved perfectly in sync with him stepping backwards. A clear sign of a wire being utilised according to one of our own team members. And what about the phone? Both times we see the receiver move, it moves in direct relation to where our cameraman is situated. Yes, it would seem clear to many that this is an obvious forgery. Still, we must ask ourselves, what would this man stand to gain from creating this hoax, and why can we not see any definitive evidence of a wire in the picture? If this is a poltergeist, wouldn't part of the mischief be for it to move objects in a way that would discredit the man's film? Perhaps this plays perfectly into the nature of the poltergeist modus operandi, to cause upset and disturbance in this man's life. The name of the motel is the Countryside Inn, and as previously mentioned, is in Harlingen, Texas. Most of the time, Harlingen can be looked at as a peaceful place to live, since it has little history of bloodshed or murder, except, that is, for the disappearance of a girl by the name of Abigail Estrada, whose murder was confessed to by a man named Ruben Torres. There isn't much information on the case, as the location of her body has never been found, but perhaps her spirit lingers on in that motel room, a sign that the room's history may include a dark secret. That of course may be a bit of a stretch, but from the information we have to go on, and the testimony of one Mr. Ramirez, it is possible that something unnatural occurred that night, however unlikely. We will say that Ramirez attempted to do something that not many other people attempt, and that is to debunk his own video. Shortly after his first video went viral, Mr. Ramirez uploaded a second video where he again was in a motel room, although this time he goes on to show that he had tied fishing line to a towel, a phone and a coat hanger. In this video you can clearly see the line that he has fixed, and as he pulls on the various objects you can see the line reflect light and maintain visibility throughout the test that he performs. Now this could simply be a case of him using a larger gauge of wire, but he once again swears his experience to be genuine, and to further Mr. Ramirez's cause, yet another user who claims to be in the same hotel as the original video documents his own strange experiences. In this video, the cameraman claims that the TV mysteriously turned itself on as he tried going to sleep, and the air conditioner, once keeping the room at a cooler temperature, began to instead blow warmer air into the room.
Alright, so we're here, and while I was checking my phone, we had the TV off, and you know, as you can see, the lights are off, and all of a sudden the TV turns on, and we've been recording some orbs on the other phone, and you know, they're just shooting from different areas. It looks pretty weird. It's pretty weird. We had the AC really full blast. It was nice and cool a little while ago. It's starting to get very hot, and the AC's still on.
This user's video isn't as detailed as the first, yet it adds a curious spin to the story. Could Ramirez's video be a genuine example of a disembodied spirit trying to make itself known? And if he did fake the whole thing, why would he go through the trouble of uploading a second video? And why would someone else with no clear and obvious connection to him upload a video with a similar claim? Our team has concluded that while this video has a few clear signs that the whole tale is a ruse, there is a compelling side to it that, whilst improbable, could contain something a little more supernatural. As we file this case away, we must always remind ourselves that a practical and open mind is the best approach to most things involving the supernatural. Oftentimes it is too easy to dismiss things as fantasy and figments of our imaginations, but to look at the oddities of our world with just a glimmer of optimism can truly make our lives amazing. As always, you be the judge.